Peter Greenberg's live global travel update is presented to you by Colette. Discover the world. Guided travel since 1918.
Well, hello, everybody. Happy Friday, the 20th of March, 2026. And greetings from Mountain View, California. I flew 10,000 miles yesterday, starting in Lesotho in Africa, through Johannesburg, then Istanbul, and then San Francisco. And I'm still awake, 39 hours from start to finish. Happy to join you here and answer your questions. Lots of stuff to talk about today. We're coming to you from the Amesville Hotel, a beautiful facility here, not far from a famous place called Moffett Field. Where I used to hang out when I was a correspondent for Newsweek. That's the NASA Ames Research Center. Still an amazing place with one of the most incredible, still standing dirigible hangars and a great museum. And they're still doing a lot of work out here at Ames. Of course, here we are in the Silicon Valley, so you know we're not far from Google and all the other tech giants. But we're not going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about travel and what's going on in the world. Let's start with the obvious, the fallout from Iran and what it means to you. It keeps getting worse before it gets better. And while airspace is slowly opening, we have airspace opening in Jordan, in Egypt, in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi, in Doha, still closed in Bahrain the last time I checked, and very limited in Israel. The bottom line is the losses here are mounting. Last week when I reported on this, I told you that the actual loss in revenue was about $600 million a day just to travel and tourism, right? For a war that's costing the U.S. $1 billion a day to prosecute. You know what the losses are this week? They're up to $750 million a day. That's $750 million a day in lost revenue, canceled flights. It gets worse and worse and worse. Some airlines are still trying to maintain their schedule. Other airlines are basically giving up. SAS in Scandinavia, right? They've canceled 1,000 flights. They just took them off the schedule. That's how bad it is. And we haven't even started talking about the price of fuel, so let's do that too. Jet A, that's the fuel that powers jet engines, initially went from $2.60 a gallon to $4 a gallon. Yesterday, it got as high as $119 a barrel for crude. What does that mean? The airlines are now facing a fuel bill of about $13 billion as we start right now. And if everything stopped today, they'd still have to be faced with that bill. And what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen. It's coming back to you. We've already seen surcharges being enacted by European carriers of anywhere from $50 to $200 per ticket. It hasn't happened yet here in a noticeable way, but every airline is indicating they're going to do it. It won't be a surcharge. It'll just be an increase in the cost of a ticket, anywhere from 7 to 10%. So for those of you who are thinking you're booking your summer vacations, do it now, because those airfares are just going to go up. And even if they open the Straits of Hormuz tomorrow, which, by the way, they're not, it's another story we can deal with. The supply chain's been disrupted, and it's been disrupted for at least 2 months, if not longer. And the prices that you'll be paying at the pump, you're already seeing it now. The average in the United States is $3.90 a gallon. Not in California where I am, it's over $5 and going higher. In some states, in some parts of the state, it's up to $6 a gallon. How's that going to impact summer travel? Well, that's not the only thing that's going to cost more, because we're talking about fuel. So not only will there be energy surcharges for the airlines, what about the cost of doing business for hotels, rental cars, restaurants, you name it, the cost of goods and services? And let's not forget diesel. People forget, everybody talks about farm to table. It's not farm to table, it's truck to farm to table. And they all operate on diesel. Those costs are going up. So that bunch of grapes just went up as well. We're going to be monitoring that because it's coming at a time when people want to travel. And the question is either A, they're afraid to go because of what's going on in the Gulf and the Middle East. And of course, they're afraid to go because of cost. Talk about a double whammy. We're going to talk about that. But there's something else going on, because if you take a look at the sheer numbers of what's going on out there, just in the Gulf states alone, we're talking about Doha, meaning Qatar, Abu Dhabi, and Dubai and the UAE. Those three airports alone are handling about 182 million passengers a year. Not today, not today at all. So their costs have gone up. The Iranians hit a gas field that was operated by Qatar. Qatar is responsible for 20% of the natural gas delivered to the world. That will have an impact. We haven't even gotten to what's going to happen later this year with fuel oil for the winter heating months. This is not going to be solved overnight. And the Straits of Hormuz are still closed. There you go. Have we basically denigrated the the Iranian leadership? Yes. Have we impacted their chain of command? Yes. In their military? Have we wiped out their Air Force and most of their Navy? Yes. However, they've been operating on inexpensive drones for a while, and they're still launching them. And the Straits of Hormuz has been heavily protected by them for a long time. Get out the map. Get yourself an atlas. Look at the Strait of Hormuz, and you'll see it is literally a choke point. And that's going to affect the way we travel for a long time. The other thing that's affecting the way we travel, of course, is the partial government shutdown with the TSA. And do not believe the DHS figures you're getting. They're saying the absentee rate is about 10% across the board for TSA agents. Not true. It's much higher than that. In Atlanta, it's 20%. And at some airports, like Houston's Hobby, yesterday, are you ready for this? The absentee rate was 55%. One airport, Denver, is encouraging passengers to tip the TSA, which, by the way, they're not allowed to accept. However, you can give them, I've been told, a gift card for up to $20 or a box of candy. But the candy's not going to go very far in feeding their families. This is a terrible situation for them. They're working under adverse situations in general, even when they are getting paid. How many of you would actively want to be a TSA agent? It's a tough job. You know, if I was standing there at the conveyor belt looking at everybody's carry-on bags through the monitor, after about the fifth bag, I'd be calling for a price check on aisle 5. I'm not kidding. It's a tough job, made almost impossible now by the fact they're not getting paid. They're not getting a paycheck. Already almost 400 of them have just outright quit. That's only about 1% of the total workforce. So that's tolerable in terms of the overall scheme of things, but it's the absentee rate of people calling in sick. This happened during the last government shutdown with air traffic controllers, which really didn't affect security. It affected safety. So we're reaching an inflection point here. Now, the DHS is claiming that if this trend continues about absenteeism, they're going to have to close down entirely small airports. I don't buy that for a second. But what will happen is it'll become Mayberry RFD. There'll be, Barney Fife at the checkpoint with a line of 7,000 people. So it's automatically closed. And then that brings up the question, if you miss your flight because you're in a 3-hour line at TSA, who's responsible for taking care of you? And you want to know the answer? Nobody. The airline didn't do it, right? And they can't really rebook you since everybody else is in the same, boat as you are. The government's not going to write a check. This is not good. And the question is, at what point does Congress figure this out? The economic impact of this alone should be enough of the wake-up call to get them back into a convenient conversation to figure this out. We all know that Congress and the DHS were not getting along under Kristi Noem. You may have a new cabinet secretary who's supposed to be confirmed. If not today, then Monday. We'll let you know. But the bottom line is those conversations have not yet started between Congress and the DHS to figure out what needs to be done to get them reauthorized in terms of funding. And until that happens with spring break in the middle of all this, bring a book. You might actually finish it while you're standing in line. Now, there's some ways around it a little bit, not always. At the major airports, if you're a member of CLEAR, use it because that'll get you to the front of the TSA pre-check line if you have pre-check. But for everybody else, it's a long, long line. Yesterday, when I flew in to San Francisco from Africa, I used Global Entry. That's now been reopened. And when they announced they were going to close it a couple of weeks ago, they announced they were closing it for staffing reasons. That was garbage. Didn't happen. There were no staffing issues. And there were no staffing issues yesterday, except there was only one customs agent to process an entire plane full of people coming in after a 14-hour flight, many of whom are members of Global Entry. I'm still a big supporter of Global Entry. I think it's the one government program that works very, very well. I still support it. But right now, everything's being challenged. I'm flying out of here on Sunday from SFO, and it's going to be a race to see if I can actually make it. So we will see what happens with me and everybody else. But again, we are at an inflection point, and something needs to be done because it just makes no sense at all. Okay, Now, I always like to share with you the bad performance and behavior video of the week. This week is no exception, courtesy of Southwest Airlines. Let's run the tape.
Fucking touch me. Get the fuck out.
I never thought that'd be in one of the TikToks.
This is Southwest. Yeah, here's the cops coming. Marissa, let's go. Let's go.
Can you call Lily on
Let's fucking go. Fuck off. Who? No, get him. Fuck who you want. Don't touch me. Marissa, let's go. Marissa, let's go. Marissa, get your ass off. Oh, yeah. Marissa, let's go.
She needs to stay.
Marissa, let's fucking go.
Sir, you need to step off the aircraft.
I don't see them out there now.
Fuck you guys. Get off of the airport. Fuck you! Fucking out! Get on the ground! Fuck you! You got me on the ground!
No.
Get your head down! Hands behind your back!
He just hit my fucking daughter.
I'll kill. Get your hands behind your back! I'll kill. We're done! You understand me?
How about now? Now we're okay. He was done. He got taken off the plane. That's our video of the week. And the hits just keep on coming. By the way, earlier this week, as you may have remembered, it was St. Patrick's Day. A good opportunity for us to repost our 1 hour special that you did on Hidden Ireland. So Anthony will post that for you now. You can go online and watch that 1 hour special that we did for PBS. It's also available on Amazon, Apple TV, and YouTube, Hidden Ireland. Okay, now let's talk about something else that's going on. I've been talking about this for a while. We are now, and the economists are now saying, oh, based on this, could we be nearing a recession? Well, I don't know about anything about a recession, and I didn't do very well in Economics 101, but I can tell you I can do basic arithmetic. And when 40% of American cardholders are revolving their credit on their credit cards and not paying their bill in full, that's a problem. Want to know a bigger problem? 12.7% of American credit card holders are 90 days in default. They're delinquent. They haven't made a payment in 90 days. That tells you a lot. And the only reason why the system hasn't collapsed yet is because the credit card companies, the banks, are making so much money on the interest, they can sustain those losses. But there are losses nonetheless. We're dealing with a house of cards here. And the consumer credit card debt is $1.2 trillion. This will affect your travels as well, especially when the prices are going to go up and the interest rates are charged against the higher prices. So something else need to talk about. Let's scroll through and say hello to some folks. We got Linda says, hi from Istanbul, where it's cold and rainy here. I know that because I was there yesterday. It was unseasonably cold in Istanbul and it was raining when we got in. All right, Jim and Harriet always coming in. They came in second today from Richmond, Virginia. Hello, Jim and Harriet. Paul is saying hi from sunny and mild Ashland, Virginia. Mary Louise is saying hello from a very hot Tempe, Arizona. And Charlie Wynnum, as always, from Baton Rouge. Nice to see you, Charlie. And then we've got Michelle saying greetings from Long Island. Okay. And Scott saying hi from Chicago. Sue saying hi from Bellingham. She always does. We love that. Sharon is saying greetings from Virginia Beach, sailing on Celebrity Silhouette in September, New England, Canada. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed for what? It's a beautiful fall foliage cruise. What's to cross your fingers for? Okay, just saying. Tell me. Sandra's saying, hi from sunny Charlotte. We are thinking of going to Japan, Taipei business class in October. Can we buy tickets in June? Yeah, but why would you wait? Remember, Japan is overcrowded right now. The yen hasn't done that well. Everybody wanted to go there. Tough ticket to get, and those tickets are going to go up, right? It's called fuel surcharges. Why would you wait till June? Get it now. Should the fares drop, if you buy it, let's say on Google Flights, they'll alert you to that. You might be able to do something. But right now, if you're flying on a U.S. carrier, especially a U.S. carrier, buy your tickets now. All right. Michael's saying, hi from Lima, Ohio. Michael always tries to trip me up on that. Thank you, Michael. Paul's saying, flying from Newark to Vienna in late April. Train arrives at Newark at noon. Flight is at 5:40. Is this cutting it too close, given Amtrak and TSA delays? I think you'll be okay. You're giving yourself a 5-hour connect time from the Amtrak train station, which is right at Newark Airport. It's no big deal. You'll be okay. Michelle says a friend is flying back from Asia through Dubai next month. Will she be okay? If Dubai is not open next month, we're all going to be not okay. Economic impact going to be severe. Look, the airspace is open. There are limited flights now. They will have to resume. It's an economic imperative for every single player in the region and every single player around the world. The industry cannot sustain $750 million a day in losses. It's really as clear as that. And it's basic math, right? Forgetting the safety issues will be dictated by the economic impact. That's what's going to resolve this. All right, Michael's saying, I'm headed to a Rotary International Convention in Taipei. Anything to be concerned about? No, Taipei is fine. In fact, best Chinese food in the world, better than China, is Taipei. You'll see what I mean. All right. Colleen wants to know, do I have any coping tips during these challenging times? Yeah, I mean, download all your favorite shows on Netflix and Apple TV and Paramount Plus, and then enjoy them. Look, the bottom line is we are reaching that inflection point. It can't be sustained much longer. Everybody knows it. The question is, it's a game of chicken. Who's going to blink first? I think we're all going to blink first. This will be resolved in terms of the refinancing or refunding of DHS, and we'll move forward. The bigger issue is coping with airspace, air tickets, and the cost of travel, not to mention basic goods and services in the days, weeks, and months ahead. We're dealing with long-term damage here. We're not dealing with a hiccup here. This is not some excursion, as someone just mentioned the other day. This is an immersion with no plan B. I'm not going to get into politics. I'm not going to get into whether or not the Iranian regime was a good or bad regime. We can have that discussion elsewhere. I'm just talking about the effects here. All right. And the effects here are not pleasant for anyone. All right. All right. Filippo says, how to survive during this period to create new customer chain and agents after the war, new companies with less than a decade, please. Well, look, necessity has always been the mother of invention. The route system that the airlines have is a strong one. You want to maintain that. It's a question of service and the cost of operations that's going to make the difference. And there's going to have to be a reset. You're going to see more airlines, especially low-cost airlines, not survive. That model is very fragile now. We're talking about Spirit. We're talking about Frontier. In the world of ultra low-cost carriers, the word low cost doesn't matter anymore. The cost of fuel affects everybody, right? Southwest is going to pay as much, if not more, for their fuel than anybody else. Same thing with Frontier. So they can't compete on rate if they can't pay the fuel bill. And we get back to a day of not too long ago of what we used to call predatory pricing. Predatory pricing was basically the idea that I can lose money longer than you can. In the 90s, that's how we defined a successful airline, which could lose money longer. It wasn't about making money. We're getting to that point again. So there's an existential threat right now, not only JetBlue and not only Spirit, but another airline. And I called this a couple of weeks ago. Who's going to buy JetBlue? You heard me say it a couple of weeks ago. It's going to be United. And United's just waiting for the right time and the right pain and pressure point where JetBlue can't afford their fuel to go in there and swoop them up. In a regulatory mood where the Trump administration will not drop it, will not block it. JetBlue is a major takeover candidate. United Airlines is the number one suitor. Why? Because United Airlines did something boneheaded a couple of years ago when they pulled all their operations out of JFK and moved them to Newark. They lost a huge piece of market share in New York. They've been desperate to get back, but they couldn't get back because all those slots that they wanted were taken by the dominant carrier at JFK, otherwise known as JetBlue. The reason why United wants JetBlue, they want those slots. That's it. They don't need the routes. They want the slots. And you know what? Something tells you by the end of this year, they're going to get them. They already announced a partnership with JetBlue, sort of a vague partnership where you can get miles on each airline based on who you're flying, where you can combine points or redeem miles. That's just the first step in a much more formal acquisition. So get ready for that. Okay. Sue is saying, hello from Wisconsin, where it is $70. Actually, we're at 70 degrees one day and 20 degrees the next. Hey, look, I landed in San Francisco last night. It was almost 80 degrees. Today it's 60. Who knows what it's going to be tomorrow? Major fluctuations. And Joanna's saying, I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona. Okay. Scott's saying, speaking of Scottsdale, hi from Jacksonville. Nice to talk to you. Kristen's saying, good morning from the Pacific Northwest. Okay. Scott's saying, I'm thinking about taking a river cruise on the Danube soon. What are your favorite towns? Well, we did a special on that, as a matter of fact, that we can post for you on an amazing river cruise we did on the Riviera cruise line. We're talking about some places in the Danube. People don't even know the Danube exists there. Most people think it's between Vienna and Budapest. It is. And by the way, the Danube is not blue. Sorry to tell you that. But we took the Danube all the way to Ukraine. That's right. So I'll ask Anthony to post that link. You can watch it. It's part of our Travel Detective series on PBS. All right, Sandra's saying we are leaving Charlotte via Munich, to Malaga in 30 days. How much time should I arrive at Charlotte Airport to get my flight? Okay. She wants to know, is there a shorter line for seniors? No, there isn't. There's always the handicap wheelchair scam, and I don't want to suggest it because I'm opposed to it. But what I would suggest is, what time is your flight? That's the key. If your flight's at between 7 and 9 in the morning, between 12 and 2 in the afternoon, or between 4 and 7 in the evening, get there 3.5 hours early. Otherwise, should be pretty good. As we sit today, this could change. Estrella's saying, hello from Boston, off to Morocco next week. Should I be apprehensive? No. Morocco's in North Africa, not near any of this right now. You'll be fine. And have fun in the Medina. You're gonna enjoy it. We love, I'm assuming you're going to Marrakesh, maybe Casablanca or Fez. The shortest flight in the world used to be in Morocco. Where did it go? Tangiers to Gibraltar for 7 minutes. And when it landed in Gibraltar, there was no runway in Gibraltar. It was the main road which they closed off with traffic lights. It became the runway. By the way, it still is. Sue's saying, what's a good time to buy airfare for an Orlando trip for the day after Thanksgiving? The day after Thanksgiving? You know what? You're talking about that Friday, which of course used to be a dead day. Look at it right now. It should be very low. Okay? Let me know what you find. Camilla's saying hi from Tucson, as she always does. Our good pal Raymond Dixon saying aloha from the Jersey Shore. Of course, wish it was Fire Island. Me too. But we're counting down the days, Raymond. We'll see you out there. Our good friend John Lample, who I now am convinced flies more than I do. John says, greetings from New York City. He's back in New York. Marrakesh was fabulous. Want to return as soon as possible. Oh, that answers your Morocco question. Last 2 days in London were weather perfect. Not a cloud in the sky. You always look out. Okay, Pat says, hello from Cairo. Wonderful time and gracious people. Yes, it is very safe. I agree. I will be in Cairo in less than 6 weeks. I'm not canceling my trip. 0, I'm going. And I'll be with Zahi Hawass, the supreme Egyptologist. When they did King Tut, I was with Zahi during that entire tour. He's an amazing man. If you ever get a chance to watch him on TV or on my shows, you will, because in June we're premiering Hidden Egypt. And who's my guest? Zahi Hawass. So watch it out. I'll give you a hint, a little bit of a hint. In Hidden Egypt, we not only talk about the intersection of the world's 3 great religions through Egypt, which is an amazing story in and of itself. Zahi takes you to a pyramid that nobody knows that he just found. And we went down, and you'll see what we found in June when we premiere Hidden Egypt. How's that for a tease? Okay. Camilla's saying, United Airlines screwed up so badly when they left JFK for Newark. I guess they regretted that move. Yeah, they did. They still do. Joy's saying, flying on Frontier in June. Do you think they'll go out of business before then, if that does happen? No, I don't think they will. If you look at the history of airline bankruptcies, I'm not talking about Chapter 11 bankruptcies. I'm talking about Chapter 7 bankruptcies. We're talking full, liquidation. That happens usually December or January, where they just can't make it to spring and summer. We're already in the middle of March to the end of March. Frontier will be okay for a while, but they may have to do more shrinking. What you're seeing at both Frontier and Spirit is, in order to survive, and Avelo as well, by the way, the other airline, they're shrinking the carrier. They're giving back. Spirit gave back half their planes to the leasing companies, and Frontier is about to do a similar move. It may not be half, but they're shrinking routes and they're shrinking aircraft. That tells you a lot. All right. And Sue says she's flying from Seattle on Alaska. And what was your question, Sue? Get back to me on that. I appreciate that. The bottom line is we have a rocky road here for the next 2 to 3 months to get to summer, just to get through the mess that's going on in the Middle East, Iran, and the Gulf, because that's affecting everything that we do. And it's also affecting what we do here in the United States. Remember, we got the 250th birthday of our country, the 100th anniversary of the Route 66, and everyone wants to drive the road and get on a road trip. Well, leave it to our friends in Canada, based on gas prices, with this sense of humor at this filling station. There you go. Just walk. Or the old slogan for TWA, you know what that stands for? Try walking across. Anyway, we're in for a tough summer because the national parks will be overflowing. We can get rid of that filling station now. The national parks will be overflowing. Hotels will be full, and get ready for energy surcharges because the cost of operations are just going to go higher. It's really as simple as that. Let's go to some questions that you guys asked. Here's one from Alan. I'm going to think you're going to Egypt on a Viking cruise. Should I go? Yes. And remember, if the cruise line cancels, you'll get the refund. If you cancel, good luck. By the way, on our next global travel update next week, I'm going to update you on an interesting story and a teaching moment for the airline business, and as well as you. It is now 2026, and Qantas just settled a class action suit that's been going on for 6 years, where they didn't give refunds to anybody during COVID. By the way, they essentially lost the suit. I'll give you the dynamics of that and tell you what you need to know going forward, as we're in similar situations here where airlines may cancel and not want a refund, which is completely illegal. We will talk about that next week. Anyway, the answer for you, Alan, is take the cruise. Okay, here's one. I'm going first class to Hawaii. What company should I use? I need more information on that. First class to Hawaii, I talk about what airline should I use or what company should I use? I am thoroughly unimpressed by all airlines' first class service to Hawaii, because the airlines don't really invest a lot of money in that particular route, because it's either all upgrades or honeymoon couples, and it's not a lot of heavy duty business traffic that will pay a premium for first class or even business class service on that route. So the answer to your question is, if you're just asking me what company should I use to go first class to Hawaii, I suppose, I remember the good old days with United Airlines flying 747s and American flying 747s. Even Northwest flew 747s to Hawaii. Everybody was flying 747s with first class service. People were getting Lays and they were getting macadamia nuts unlimited, not 3 to a pack. Those days are gone. The airlines have gone to much smaller aircraft like A321s, even Southwest, of course, flying the 73s, not the most comfortable planes and not the best service. So I'm honest here. I have no favorite airline to Hawaii right now. I wish I did. I guess, you know what? I'll give you one that I like better than the others, but only because I like them less badly, if that's the case. That would be Alaska. Okay? And they fly from San Diego too. All right. Let's keep scrolling here. A friend is flying back from Asia through Dubai next month. Yeah, you'll be fine. Here's one. Hold on a second. I'm scrolling down. Okay, here we go. I have JetBlue flights for the summer. Will they still go if United buys them? Yes. Any announcement that United makes to buy JetBlue is not going to be handled overnight. These deals will take 3 to 4 months. You'll be fine. Okay, Marsh says, I just bought my dad a flight on Breeze for late May. Any thoughts on what happens if Breeze goes bankrupt? Breeze is not going bankrupt. They've turned a profit. And the reason why they turned to profit is they're run by a very smart guy named David Nealman. He's the one who started JetBlue. He's the one who started Azul in South America. And he's now started Breeze here in the United States. Look at their route network. I think it's brilliant, right? They're flying at least between one underserved airport and a bigger airport. In some cases, two underserved airports. I mean, they've got a transcon right now from Providence, Rhode Island to LAX. I would take that flight in a minute versus going from Boston, right? They're flying on an A220 that's got the range. They even have some nice seats up front. You'll be fine on Breeze. They're doing a good job. All right, just wanted you to know that. All right, some more letters here that came in. Okay. Oh, I'm flying from Florida to Philadelphia over Memorial Day weekend. When should I buy my tickets? Now. Two reasons. Even if we didn't have a fuel surcharge coming, why wouldn't you buy it now? Right? Those prices aren't going to go down over Memorial Day weekend, especially if you know what days of the week they are and you can book in them 2 days in advance or 2 days on the back end. It's even better. So don't hesitate on that. Book it now. A reminder, of course, watch Hidden Ireland. Of course, our radio show this weekend coming from Chicago, from the Sheridan Grand River Walk right there in the Windy City, right on the river north. Hope you'll get a chance to listen in. That's tomorrow. Check your local listings. It's from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern time. If you can't find a station in your market, not to worry. We always stream it live, and it becomes a podcast later on, so I hope you'll continue to watch. In the meantime, we're back right here in Mountain View, California, and I bid you a great, safe, sensible weekend out there. And I want to thank Anthony Protas for doing the boards. And of course, one more thing, the other reason why I'm here this weekend, you see it on the screen there, I'm speaking tomorrow, not far from here, at the Travel and Adventure Show at the Convention Center in Santa Clara, California. I hope you'll come by. Got some good pals also speaking. Pauline Fromer, you know the Fromer guidebooks. Andrew McCarthy, you certainly know him from the Brat Pack, and a few other things. We'll have a lot of fun. I'll be glad to meet with everybody and answer your questions in person. That's tomorrow and Sunday at the Santa Clara Convention Center. Other than that, I'm signing off. What was that? Oh, Anthony just reminded me. How could I miss? It's the photo of the week. You got to love this photo. And who took it? Mr. Jankovic. And of course, what I love about this photo, I know exactly where he took it from. I've been across that side of the bridge in London many times. He waited for the light. How beautiful is that? We love those shots when you wait for the light. Anytime you can do a photo that resembles a Maxfield Parrish painting, I'm all in. So thank you for that, Mr. Jankovic. And of course, if you think you got a photo that qualifies as the photo of the week, you know what to do. Just email us, photocontest@petergreenberg.com. We'll be glad to mount it up there right next to his. Now I'm going to say goodbye. We will see you next week from another undisclosed location about 8,000 miles from here. They've got me on a crazy schedule, and think about this, I'm racking up all those miles I can't redeem. What a concept. I'll see you next week.